Welcome to the Ultimate Mixtape, an Andrew McMahon fan podcast covering his projects from something corporate to wilderness and everything in between. Join your hosts, Jess and Jimmy, as they talk about the Andrew McMahon fandom, upcoming shows, news, and discuss the music with you, the fans.
All right, everybody, welcome Tyler Perrino. We're so excited to have you on the podcast, Tyler.
I'm super stoked to be here. I can't wait to talk about everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opinions, and I can't wait to actually hear what you thought of it, because I keep calling you the festival guru. Basically, every time we see you, you're traveling for a show and you're in some other state, some other festival, somewhere across the country. So I do want to dig into the weekend, but first, let's talk a little bit about you. I know I've met you at shows, you and your wonderful wife. We've seen you out and about, but how about you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? Like, where are you from? What do you do? And like, how did you originally get into Andrew's music?
Yeah, sure. So I'm originally from Northeast Ohio, little city called Youngstown. It's about an hour southeast of Cleveland. Grew up there, and then now I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Been out here for about 4 years now, a little over 4 years. For work, I work at a community college out here. I'm the creative lead there, so I do social media, video production, content writing, all that kind of fun stuff. And first got into Andrew, I mean, it's gonna sound really old, but probably 7th grade, I think. It was probably like 2002 on Yahoo Radio, which is kind of like Pandora before Pandora was a thing. I remember just kind of, discovering new bands. There was like some pop punk, some emo kind of stations on there. And I can't remember the first song. It was either I Want to Save You or I Woke Up in a Car, something from, that kind of realm, and Leaving Through the Window. And, I was like, oh, this is different. You heard that piano. It was such a unique sound, from, the rest of the pop punk I had been listening to at the time. You're Taking Back Sunday, stuff like that. So it really just kind of stood out to me, and I just dove in from there, and it's been a 20 plus year journey now with Andrew through his various projects, and I've loved basically everything the man's put out and across all 3 projects. So just really, really happy to see my first love, something corporate, kind of come back and get to relive that a little bit this weekend.
I know. Oh my gosh, like how crazy. So many people were anticipating this weekend. So I can't wait to talk to you about it. Like I said, we've met you at shows before, and it's always so fun to run into our AM fam. It's been so long, and people have cultivated these amazing relationships. But you're also kind of known in like the Discord forums and stuff like that. I'm still trying to learn that stuff, so maybe you can explain it a little bit better. But you've made some amazing connections and other family members from just traveling and meeting people through those. Like, how did you get involved with them?
Yeah, so Discord really started for me. I had a Discord account for a few years, but I maybe had like 10 total posts on Discord before last year. And what really kicked it off for me was about a week and a half before Lollapalooza last summer. Got an email from Lolla. I was only really going with one friend here in Phoenix, but I got an email that they were launching an official Discord server. And at the time I was pretty active on the Lolla subreddit, just kind of talking to people, building some hype about the fest. So I figured, this would be a good way to, talk to more people, something that was probably a little bit faster paced than, a Reddit where, it's all kind of thread based. So joined it on the day it launched, and, really was on there pretty much nonstop until Lollapalooza. Ended up being like number 1 on the Lollapalooza leaderboard. Nice. Leading up to the fest, which was super, super fun. Made some really, really amazing connections there. Like you mentioned, we were able to do some Ask Me Anything interviews with some of the artists who were playing Lolla, and also with Houston Powell, who's the man who's really in charge of booking the entire festival. So, through that, I was able to meet him actually both years at Lolla. He was, just one of the nicest people I've ever met. Just super, super accommodating, super amazing. Just to, pick his brain even just for a few minutes. But yeah, I was able to, go backstage there, really all because of that community. And and like you said, since then I've gone to some other festivals with people that I've met on Discord. Gone on some like just various trips. Went to Seattle, went to Denver, or not Seattle. Went to San Diego, went to Denver with some people I met on there. Went to Salt Lake City, visited a friend who lives in Mexico, who I met on Discord too. So it's been really, really great. I highly recommend anyone who's interested in music festivals or just music in general. Our community is called the Festiverse. We're now 10,000 members strong. It started out just as the official server for Lollapalooza, but it's since grown to include some other C3 and Live Nation festivals. So now it's the official server for Lolla, for Bonnaroo, Gov Ball up in New York.
That's so cool because
festival.
didn't you like facilitate a Q&A with Andrew too through Discord?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So Andrew, he played Adjacent and he played Bonnaroo this year, which are two of the fests that Festiverse is the official server for. So yeah, we were able to work with his manager and get him on board and do a Q&A with him, which was super great, super insightful. And every time we do one of those, we've done them with all kind of artists. We've done them with Phoenix, with the Revivalists, just some really great names, Portugal the Man. And again, along with, people like Houston Powell, who book Lollapalooza, we did one with the people who book Austin City Limits as well. So it's been really great just to be a part of that community, to watch it grow. And I've made, some of the best friends of my life, just in the past, year plus, just from, being active in that community.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, we usually ask our guests what makes Andrew so special, but in this instance, I feel like we can ask you what makes the music community so special. Like, those friendships are so strong. What do you think it is about music bringing people together that makes that special?
I think because music can be so deeply personal, but also at the same time, such like a community. It's really, really cool to have that shared experience with people, especially going to a festival with people. It's 4 days. You're kind of completely surrounded by the same people, and it's really just a great way to get to know people. Explore a bunch of your favorite artists, discover new artists with everyone. And that's something that the community's been great too. Is when these lineups come out, everyone's all excited about different artists. So if there's someone that you have a similar taste with, they might be really excited about an artist you're not super familiar with. So it's a good way to really dive in and learn about some really great new bands that are out there. And I've done that a lot too. Just learning some of these artists and some of these lineups, some of the smaller ones who, I wasn't really exposed to before, but I had some friends who were super excited about, or, they may have joined us for an AMA or something.
Awesome. I like that you said that some of your closest friends, like even in the past year, come from music, because it's like, obviously, the Andrew fandom. It's like we're some of the closest people, and it's like I met Jess through Andrew. It's kind of weird. Me and you met. I was surprised you said you've been in Phoenix for 4 years. I was like, holy shit, that's a long time. I think we met at like a Pirates game, like
we did
6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I did live in Pittsburgh there for a while.
Yeah, so it's just crazy to see like all the bonds that you make with all these different people. But let's talk about this past weekend. I'm a little jealous of you. You had Thursday night. I need to know more. So Green Day had announced that secret show was going to be at the Fremont Country Club, and I think it was like 800 capacity, 850 capacity. It was super small. But how did all that come together? Because obviously the tickets went in seconds. But how did you get a chance to go to that?
Yeah, that was a crazy day. It was a Andrew McMahon fan member. It was Laura who actually helped me get the tickets.
Nice.
I was sitting there. Shout out Laura, she was amazing. I had my personal computer, I had my work computer both open with like three different websites or three web browsers open. I had my phone. She was trying as well, and she happened to get the lowest number in the queue, and that queue was crazy. I think she started around 500 something. Damn. Some of my browsers were over 7,000 in line.
Oh shit!
So she just got like super, super lucky with her line placement, and she got in, immediately called me, put 2 tickets in her cart, and it was Steve also from the Andrew family got to go with me. He was my +1 for that.
Oh, nice, nice. Was it 2 tickets like max?
Yep, 2 tickets max. Will call only. Super, super strict. They didn't even give you like tickets or anything. You checked in and you went in. So
Oh,
it
okay.
was actually really funny because my wife, who was obviously went up to Vegas with me, we were planning on driving up there Thursday evening. She had to work the whole day. She was covering for someone, so she couldn't take off early. So I had to hurry up. After we got the tickets, I had to hurry up. I bought her a flight for Saturday so she'd come up, and
Nice.
then basically threw everything in my car, drove up, got up there around 4:30 or so, and checked into the hotel, and then just headed over to the venue and got in and met up with Steve there, and yeah, it was incredible. I mean, I saw Green Day post on Instagram that they had like the Dookie stage set up. I was like, oh, we might be getting this full album play.
Yeah.
And then the poster was Dookie theme too. I'm like, oh, this is happening. And then they played the whole album. Then they played, I mean, so many deep cuts, like songs that they haven't played in over a decade.
That's
in some instances. So it was absolutely unreal seeing them in such a small venue and in such a unique set list. Because I mean, Green Day, they've been pretty locked into their set list at Fest and everything for a while, and that's the only place I've ever seen them before was at different festivals. So it's really, really cool to see something so unique and especially in such a small, intimate space.
Yeah, and to hear that I guess they're touring next year with Smashing Pumpkins, which is amazing.
Yeah, got to hear that announcement first. Yeah, Smashing Pumpkins, Green Day, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas, who are a great newer pop punk band. They're really, really young. Super, super cool to see them get that opening on that tour.
Yeah, Smashing Pumpkins is a bucket list item for me, so I'm like thrilled that tour is coming.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be a crazy one.
Yeah, very. For Friday for SOCO, did you guys have any issues with tickets?
No, I got really lucky. I was part of Camp Wilderness, obviously, and was able to get in there in that pre-sale. And I just, happened to get in, got my tickets, and I had no problem whatsoever. But, I do know that was a struggle for a lot of people, even the ones who were part of Camp Wilderness there.
Yeah, we were afraid that it was going to be a shit show. No, obviously it was for some people, but we had like a war room of like 10 people. Yeah, and it was like, I don't care how many. And I thought their ticket limit was too high. That's why it was kind of cool that Green Day did too. I was surprised it was 8 because I think it should have been like 2 to 4.
I thought I was gonna be 4 or 6. When I saw 8, I was like, oh wow, that's gonna go really quick.
Yeah, so it's like they're gonna go really quick. But I was glad that we didn't have any issues because I could not have missed that show.
No. I mean, I was willing to pay whatever I needed to. Like that was, I mean, I was more excited about that than the fest itself, to be honest.
Right.
I think a lot of people were.
Yeah. I mean, the 2 people I went with, they only came up for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And they flew back the next morning. It was actually the head moderator for the Festiverse and her husband.
Nice.
They're the ones who came up with us.
Yeah, our friend Kelly, we actually had to fly into LAX because tickets to Vegas were absurd. But we met her at LAX. She only went to Friday, and then she flew maybe to Phoenix on Saturday morning. Yeah, to see a friend, and it was actually pretty smart. She went last year and had a Saturday ticket, and obviously it didn't happen. So she's just like cursed. She's like, I'm not trying this again.
No, that's fair. Yeah, that's what my friends were like too. They're like, the fest would be great, but let's just, they flew up. I think they got there Friday at like 2 or something, and they were gone by 3 o'clock on Saturday. It was like basically a 24-hour trip in Vegas just for that show. And I mean, they said it was worth it too. And I know a lot of people who were like that as well.
Yeah, that show was. We're going to talk about it more later, but that show was everything I needed it to be and then some.
Oh yeah.
But since you're the Guru Festival guy, I got more questions for you.
Of course.
So you were close, obviously, you live in Arizona, so you're super close to Vegas. But how do you prepare for like a festival? Like, how far in advance did you prepare for this one? Obviously, it was going to be hot as hell, and it was. Like, there's just some things that I was not expecting, and it was like, holy shit! How do you prepare for this to last 15 hours during the day?
I think my prep, I guess the first thing I do is always, if it's a festival that I need to get a hotel for, I book that first. Like, I had my hotel for Vegas booked last October. Basically, as soon as they announced the date, I was like, because those are the things that go the quickest, and those are the things that only go up in price. Flights fluctuate in price, tickets fluctuate in price, but hotels, I mean, that only gets more expensive. So
that's so
as soon as
true.
I see dates, I lock in hotels. Like I already have my hotels for ACL next October booked. I booked them, as soon as I could after this year ended. So that's my first step. As far as like actual prep for the fest itself, I mean, it is a little different for me since I am kind of used to that desert environment.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't really struggle as much as I saw a lot of other people who were, from more mild climates.
Mm-hmm.
My thing for me, it's really just about staying hydrated. That's always my big thing. It's like I always bring liquid IV or Ultima packets in. I mix them in with my water,
Yeah.
anything like that, just to get those extra electrolytes, those extra vitamins. And it's about knowing your body too. I mean, I'm so used to this. A one-day festival is really nothing for me after doing 3 days at Coachella with camping and or doing 4 days at Lollapalooza in the Chicago heat and humidity.
Yep.
This one, I mean, I know a lot of people hurt, and I feel like bad for saying this. This was kind of like almost easy mode for me compared to some of the other ones. But I will say Saturday was hot.
Yes,
It was way harder than last year. Like last year, by the end of the night, I was freezing. Like I had a hoodie in my locker. I couldn't physically get to my locker because of the weird GA pit that they had last year that they thankfully got rid of.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like this year, I was like, okay, this is way different than it was a year ago, and that's the desert this time of year. We have days where our highs are 75. We have days where our highs are 95, like it was on Saturday.
Yeah. It was funny because we got a locker for the day, and we brought hoodies, and it was like, I'm never gonna fucking need this thing. Like there is just and we're from Florida. Like I'm from Florida originally. It was just heat that it was all concrete, obviously, and it was like barely like to me there was barely any tents, but it was like I'm never gonna need this hoodie. But our friend Brian went last year, and he's like, no, I actually got really cold.
Oh yeah. Last year was bad. Like once the sun went down for like Paramore and my camp last year, I was freezing.
Yeah.
So I had a flannel tied around my waist both days. I didn't need it at all Saturday. Needed a little bit on Sunday. Sunday was a little cooler. Once I got out of the thick of the crowd, for Green Day set, I was kind of just chilling in the back. I definitely got a little cold then, so I did put my flannel on then. But yeah, it was definitely way warmer. And I do feel for everyone who isn't used to that. One, isn't used to the desert, and two, isn't used to being at a fest for 12, 13 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I saw like on a lot of the when we were young groups, people talking about this heat, and some were saying like, "We told you so. We told you it was gonna be a hot one." And I mean, we live in Florida. We're used to like the sweaty, muggy heat, so it definitely was a different type of heat. And the sun just zaps you. That just is what it is. But the excitement for something corporate kind of overwhelms any bad feeling that I would have about that. So this was like their first full show with the original lineup in like how many years? I don't even know. Was it like, is it 20 altogether?
19 or 20, I think, right? Because William left in 2003, 2004, something like that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So when it came to that show, the House of Blues, if you're not familiar with it, it's actually connected to Mandalay Bay. And that is a large hotel in Las Vegas, very popular. And it's in like a tiny little section of that whole hotel. But by the time we had got there, there was already a pretty long line. So people were hanging out already. Like there was a lot of friendship bracelets going around. Jimmy, Lisa, aka AM Chalk, and we ended up walking through the line a little bit, just trying to raise money for Dear Jack. And we ended up raising $250 from that line. And I wish we could have stayed longer and talked to more people. And anybody that we missed, we tried to reach out to you guys through Instagram so we can get people stickers. Jimmy designed some very special something corporate stickers, and we have another batch coming. So if somebody does want them, hit us up. We're sending them out, and it's just like a nice memento of that show because it really was special, and you could feel like the energy in the air the second that you got there. But we really thank anybody that donated. It was really fun to like talk to everybody, but we had to go eat. It's just what you have to do before a show. So Tyler, what was your plan for the show? Like what time did you get there? And did you have an idea of like where you wanted to be in the crowd, or were you trying to hang back a little bit? What was your plan?
Yeah, so I feel like I probably have a pretty kind of unique case here because I was actually working the merch tent at When We Were Young all day on Friday. So that was my way into the fest. And that was actually another connection I made through the Festiverse Discord community. Houston Powell, the Lollapalooza booker, his brother is actually the one who runs merch for a lot of those festivals. So, through that connection, I was able to, get in with them and was able to actually work merch, which is really, really cool and really insightful to kind of see that side of things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I worked there, the pop-up merch outside the gate from, I think, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So I basically, as soon as I was done, I ran back to my hotel,
That's
changed.
a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very long day. And it was on my feet the whole day. I mean, we were busy. Like our lines got really long. The lines only really slowed down at like 6:30 or so. It was finally the only time that there wasn't a steady line the entire day from when we opened at 11. But yeah, so I ran back to my hotel. I got changed. Tried to call an Uber. It was going to be $200 to go 3.5 miles down the strip. Yeah. So we were like, yeah, that's not happening. So luckily I had my car. So luckily, we just hopped in that and drove down there and parked. But yeah, by the time we actually got to the Mandalay Bay, it was probably almost 8. And then, obviously it's a huge casino and I got lost, running around trying to find where the actual House of Blues is. But yeah, thankfully my friends, Caitlin and Taylor, were in there already, and they got in a little bit before us, and they grabbed a good spot right at the bar. So we were on that little, like, kind of, I guess, the left side if you're looking at the stage.
Yeah.
Kind of just like one row back on that bar level, which was, we actually had a really, really great view for getting there when we did. I think we got inside the actual venue at like 8:15, so right, just a few minutes before Cassidy started.
I saw some people's pictures from that side, and it looked like a really great view.
Yeah, we ended up being right next to Steve and his wife. They were, kind of just a row in front of us and a little bit over to the side. But yeah, I always knew I was going to be in the back. Like, even if I wasn't working, I knew the barricade people would be there all day, and yet they were. And I was like, I didn't have the time to devote to that either way. So I was just happy to be in the building. I was like, anywhere I am is going to be fine. I'm lucky that I'm tall, so I can kind of see over most people anyway. But yeah, it was just special being in there and, having a great view and more importantly, just, being surrounded by people I care about and who care about that music as much as I do.
Exactly. And what did you think about the capacity of that show? Because it seemed like the band, Andrew specifically, was constantly trying to get more tickets available for people. So at any point, did you feel like it was overcrowded, or did you feel like it was like a true, like, old school pop punk show?
It definitely felt pretty old school pop punk. And, having that spot in the bar was kind of cool because you can look down at everyone in the GA pit and kind of see it. I mean, it was packed. And that was only my second time ever at that venue. The first time was actually to see Andrew, I think like a couple weeks after we moved here back in 2019. And we were up in the balcony then. So that was my first time really being anywhere on the floor level. But yeah, I thought, it was crowded, but, I didn't feel, claustrophobic or smushed in any way, which was really nice. Definitely one of the better House of Blueses, sightline wise. I'm sure everyone is familiar with some of the other House of Blueses who aren't as great for viewing, especially because they're a little bit late. Not pointing any fingers, but Chicago.
Yeah.
I actually didn't realize how big that balcony area was. And even when buying tickets, when it said that there were seats, I was like super confused because I've never seen a House of Blues that has such a seated area. But I feel like that even would have been a great view. Like, no matter where you were, you could not lose.
Yeah, no, it was really great being up there. Like I said, in 2019. And that one does, I think, have the biggest seating sections because I obviously growing up near Cleveland, went to the House of Blues up in Cleveland a lot, and it had seats too, but not nearly as many as the Vegas one.
Yeah. And we know there was a post like over the summer that House of Blues like doesn't, what was it? They don't charge artists to sell their merch or something like that. So that's probably why Andrew always ends up picking that place. But when it comes to the actual crowd, what did you think about the energy? Because I thought it was insane. And I'm just going to say, like, I got chills the first song. They played Space. It was number one on my list. And everyone screaming was so loud. The lyrics, they knew every single word. And it was just incredible to watch.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree completely. Yeah, the crowd, the energy was there the whole night. I mean, being by the bar, I was a little nervous. Sometimes when you're at shows, you hear those bar noise and everything. You couldn't hear that at all here. All you hear was everyone just singing every word from, every angle. So I love to see that. You can tell people who were there for the show.
Yeah.
There weren't people who just, tagged along, so it was a thing to do. It was something corporate fans. It was people who had been waiting, 10 plus years for that moment. So it felt special. Yeah. From the second they started, from the second Space started, like that's a strong opener, and it just, never let up from there.
Oh, it crushed.
Yeah. It really crushed. And some people, like, they've been fans of something corporate, but they've never seen them because obviously it's been so long. So it's like, I know, like, the Stewarts, we were good friends with them. Like, that was the first time they had seen something corporate. So that's really cool as well. It's like you follow this band forever thinking they're never gonna like do anything, and then you just saw a 20-song set that was just fucking amazing.
And that was only my, well, I guess kind of like second and a half time ever seeing them. I never got to see them when they were like a band, the first go around, because I was just, too young for shows really. But I got to see them in 2010 at Bamboozle Chicago when they reunited for that tour. That was right before their tour kicked off. And then was at Andrew's birthday party in Anaheim last year where they had the little mini reunion. So
that was like
that was really special to see there too. Yeah.
That was like an appetizer for Friday.
Exactly. That's how it felt too. I'm like, okay, this is great. We gotta go all in on this the Vegas one now.
Yeah. What did you think of the set list?
It was amazing. I mean, they were pretty much everything I wanted to hear. There were some songs I didn't expect to hear. I didn't expect to hear Fall. That was really exciting to hear.
Yep.
Obviously anytime you can hear all of Constantine, that's always fun.
Especially
we all looked around after, had the tears in our eyes.
Yep.
It was cool to hear with the whole band. Like, obviously you hear people yell it all the time, and I was like, it's fucking annoying, but it's like, it was cool to hear it with all of something corporate. Like, that made it totally different.
And that kind of was like a full circle moment for me too, because at the birthday party last year, that's when the whole band came out. He started playing Constantine, and then slowly, Josh, William, Brian, all of them came out, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is happening.
Yeah, it was so cool. Me and Jess talked about like what 5 songs we wanted to hear on the last episode of this podcast. I had 4 of the 5. The only one I was surprised he didn't play was Wait. I was thinking he might play, he might not, but opening with Space was like, that was everything. Yeah. But were there any moments that like really like shocked you or impressed you? Obviously the piano was impressive.
Yeah. And truthfully, I didn't realize the piano was LED at first. Like, I was like, oh, that's just really brightly lit. And then my friend was like, I think it's an LED. I'm like, oh wait, yeah, you're right. So that was really cool to see, that kind of set design. I love the little vignettes that they did, kind of as little set breaks, seeing those old videos of everyone.
Why did that make me emotional? I don't know.
Yeah. One of the guys who I just did those stickers online, one of the guys who bought one, he interviewed Andrew in 2003, and he was part of the opening clip. Which I didn't like. He told me that after he had bought the stickers. I was like, he wasn't there, but he was like, my opening clip, that was me interviewing Andrew in 2003. I was like, damn, that's 20 years. Yeah.
That was really cool to see like the transformation, and just hearing those old stories and everything, and then seeing them on stage 20 years later, still rocking it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think of their dynamic? I thought it was like old times.
Oh yeah, it was like never meant to be. I mean, I know a lot of them have been involved with other stuff, have day jobs now and everything, but yeah, they were the same rock stars that they were when we were growing up.
Yeah, they look so happy.
Oh yeah.
It was really, really fun to watch them together. You could tell like they're like just thrilled to hang out together and play this music again. But something that Jimmy and I have always done at shows, and it's probably obnoxious, but we think it's funny, is we bring inflatables. So previously we brought like, palm trees and things like that to shows. And this time we brought some spacemen and some globes, and we were able to throw those into the crowd, and it was just kind of fun to like feel that energy, feel that high. I think everybody was really on the same level and enjoying themselves, and I know we had an amazing time just like singing and dancing with our friends. I remember looking at everybody and we're just like singing to each other at that point, like not even looking at the band anymore, because we just love this song so much. And honestly, top 5 concerts of all time.
Yep.
I'm still on the high from it. It was so much fun. We're still talking about it. And seeing them all up there just enjoying it and just living that dream over again. It was amazing. So, Tyler, what did you think overall of the whole show?
Oh yeah, it was everything I wanted and more. I mean, yeah, the energy was just infectious. I saw a little spaceman floating around the crowd, so good to know that was you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire night. I mean, yeah, from start to finish was just it was perfect. I mean, there were songs I would have liked to hear, but I'm not going to be picky. I got 20 songs. I got a full Something Corporate show, which is something I never really had growing up. So I'm just so happy that that moment even happened and I was able to be there for it.
Yeah. What's funny about that spaceman thing is somebody caught, like, I heard a security guard got one and he took it away, which whatever. But somebody else caught another one and they had it signed by the band.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I told her that I'm happy that he went to a good home.
Yeah.
I do have to pay child support though.
Yeah.
But it was just fun to see like those things out there and everybody just like having a good time.
Oh yeah. No, that was really, really special.
Well, how did you feel then? Obviously, we're coming down from this high of the show. How did you feel when it was over? Because I was definitely sad.
I was sad. It was kind of like one of those like, oh, what do we do now moments, especially being in Vegas. We're like, I don't want this night to end.
Yep.
So the four of us, we went and we grabbed a drink at one of the bars, and then luckily, because of that connection we had with Andrew doing the AMA on our Discord before, we were able to go upstairs for the after party through his manager, which was nice just to be able to continue the night, get to see everyone who I didn't get to see during the actual show. We got upstairs and I felt like I knew half the people out there, which was so funny. Also, I was like, this feels like a crossover episode. So it's like my new internet friends meeting my old internet friends, and just a great time up there with everyone. Getting to meet the band. Obviously got to see Lauren Conrad, which was fun. My friend kind of freaked out a little bit, which was super
I think
exciting.
everybody did the second they saw Lauren Conrad. So
No, it was really fun. My friend, we were talking to William, and she was like, "I love Something Corporate, but I love your wife more." And he was like, "I love my wife more too. Do you want to meet her?" And then she was like popped out behind her, and like my friend's jaw was like on the floor. It was like, oh my god, it was like the funniest moment of like the whole night. But awesome. It was just great, to be up there and continue that night with everyone.
Yeah, it was so much fun, and I kind of have a little bit of tea. We did start a Facebook group that's kind of dedicated to what the QR codes were that were shown during the show. But some people are coming for me online because I started a Facebook group about it. And I'm just sharing information that I know in that Facebook group. So if you're not in it and you want to be in it, send us a message and we'll add you. It's private now. But anything that we know, we're trying to share with our friends. We just want to share that excitement and have fun next year on vacation. But if Something Corporate happens to be doing more shows, who knows? Would you suggest them going to see them if they come to town? Would you suggest anybody like going to that show?
Oh, 1000%. Yeah. I mean, a little bird told me there might be some more shows coming up.
Tweet.
Who knows?
Sometime, maybe around a holiday coming up, in a couple months. But one would hope. But I'll definitely be, anywhere that they're playing, the next year. So I need to be out there because it was so special. I need more of that. I missed that for 20 years. So
I think if there's something in New York, we might try to make that happen.
It's not a mic.
Me in LA.
Yeah. Yeah. We will make that happen.
Yeah. Anything in Southern California, I am there. So Andrew, put it on for your hometown, bud.
Just stay home, man.
Yeah.
We did VIP tables for the SOCO show because we're old. And it was just nice because we were probably on the same level as you guys. It was nice to be like eye level with the stage.
Exactly.
Nice.
With that VIP, we got the foundation room, which we only went to for like 15 minutes. It was a very weird foundation room. I thought it was a strip club when I first walked in.
It was
It was like way upstairs, right?
Yeah, but it was like totally like you had to walk pretty far to get there.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't near like the House of Blues at all. It was very strange.
Yeah.
But we were there for like 15 minutes, and then it was like, okay, it's time to go. So we went back to House of Blues. And you mentioned Laura Conrad. We took the elevator up for the after party thing, and it was Brian Ireland, Will, and Lauren Conrad and us, and it was like, this is the most awkward, amazing elevator ride I've ever taken in my life. But they were like super nice. Like you said, Lauren, talked to your friend. It was like they were willing to take pictures and things like that. It was like, this is actually a really, really cool night and a nice little topper to the evening. But what did you think of like the after party event?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I didn't know we were even going to go to that until after the show ended. And then, my friend got a text from Andrew's manager and was like, yeah, hey, come meet me by the entrance and we'll get you some passes. So that was just completely unexpected. And then, once I got up there, I was like, oh, I know like literally half of this room.
Yeah.
Just from, being at various Andrew shows, especially, being, in the Midwest for a while, living in Pittsburgh for a while, I got to kind of meet people from, kind of all over the country, going to shows out there. And now I've got, the West Coast Andrew fan. So I feel like I've been very fortunate to meet people from all over the country through this community. So it was cool to just, reconnect with everyone, especially in a smaller space like that, because, it's obviously at a festival, it's nearly impossible to find anyone. So it's just going to get that Friday night, post show, come down, get to chill with everyone, have a couple of drinks and just, relax and just relive everything.
Because I wasn't sure if we were going to see you at all because of how many people were everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even after the show ended, a few of us wanted to do like a group pic down in the pit. So I was like running down there to meet up with everyone, and then before we left the venue for a bit.
Yeah, it was crazy. Had you met any of the Sunday corporate guys before?
No. Like I said, this was only my kind of second real time seeing them. So it was that was all new. Meeting anyone besides Andrew and Zach, obviously.
Yeah. That was a really, really cool experience. But now we're going to talk about the festival because me and you might have differing opinions.
Oh yeah.
It was hard though because it was like Friday was such a high. I was like, I knew the weekend wasn't going to top it, but I was like, it's got to like come close. But were you ready for Saturday after such an amazing Friday?
I was, yeah. We woke up, energized, ready to go. I think it helped being at when we were young last year, and we also went to Lovers and Friends in May, which is essentially the same festival but for R&B and hip hop.
Okay.
But it's at the same festival grounds, it's the same layout. So it was kind of really like my third time in this space with that setup. So felt like I was a little bit more prepared than someone who had been going there for the first time.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the good thing is from some of those when we were young groups, it sounded like they had taken a lot of feedback from the year before and adjusted a lot of things, especially when it came to like layout and booths and things like that. So I'm glad that was a little bit easier to navigate for people. But when we were getting to the festival, Jimmy and I were adults now and have a timeshare. We're in that timeshare life. So our place was furthest from the strip. So we knew we would have to basically take an Uber or taxi cab to get anywhere close. And we took a cab to Circus and got dropped off there and then ended up walking in the rest of the way. So we got there around like 10:15, which I thought was pretty respectable considering everybody was out the night before. But I mean, the sun was pretty blistering hot, obviously. What I thought was a little weird was that they carded everybody. And I feel like that kind of slowed up the line on that first day. I hadn't seen them do something like that before. Usually it's like, hey, are you drinking? Okay. But so I didn't see an option for people that weren't planning on drinking to skip and go ahead in the line. So it did take us about 45 minutes to actually get through everything. And by that time, we were like desperate for water and shade. I know I was specifically. And that was our line was actually moving faster than other people's because we were like neck to neck with people. And then all of a sudden we were in. So I'm happy that we were in that faster line. So we did get in just like a little bit after 11. So we got to like get the lay of the land and figure out where everything was and where SOCO was going to be on stage. And I think it was pretty easy to navigate, especially with the app. Like it kind of showed you where everything was. It was nice because it did work the whole time. I know a lot of people had issues with their cell service, but I feel like the app worked pretty well for
Yeah.
us. And the water stations was a little weird. They were like motion censored and nothing worked quite right. But, I'm not a fan of warm water. It gives me the ick, but we'll let you give us some of your experiences, Tyler. What was it like for you to get into the festival and what did you think of that new layout?
Yeah, so we stayed at the Travel Lodge, which is like literally at the gate,
Oh yeah,
which is
I saw that.
very, very convenient. I mean, it's not a great hotel by any means, but location-wise, you can't beat it. And that's what I typically prioritize location over anything when I'm going to festivals. Anything that's the shortest walk, the better for me, just because I know I'm going to be on my feet all day anyway.
Yeah.
So we probably got in line around 10:45ish or so. So about a half hour after you. Again, yeah, I thought the IDing before you even went in was a little weird. I've never seen it at Fest. Usually it's like a booth once you're inside, or even sometimes it's just like as soon as you get to your first bar, they check your ID and give you a wristband at the bar itself. I do agree that kind of held up things for a bit, but luckily we made it in probably 11:25ish or so, maybe call it like the last song or two of Phoenix TX. I typically my strategy whenever I go into a fest is first off is water. I mean, I want to be ready. So luckily they had the people handing out bottles early on, which was nice. So we just grabbed a couple of those, filled up our bottles there, and then made our way over to the main stage area. I just kind of posted up there because I knew wanted to see the Ataris, wanted to see Motion City, and then obviously something corporate right after that. So it was kind of a good run there at the main stages before we really branched out and did anything else.
Mm-hmm. And what did you think about like the shade and like the different booths and activities? They had a lot of like art and installations and stuff there too. What did you think about all that stuff?
Yeah, I think the shade was very occupied throughout the day. It was actually funny, like walking around the crowds, you would see like big clusters of people and like, what are they doing? And I was like, oh, that's the shade from the speaker tower, that's the shade from that big, cylinder that had the schedule and stuff on it. So people are kind of finding their own shade wherever they could, which again, like living out here, I'm kind of used to that sun and everything all day beating on it. So we didn't really need to seek it out as much as others. I will say that they did improve the layout from last year. Like I mentioned before, that last year they had this weird like GA pit that was basically the entire front area, like from the sound booth forward, was like a separate pit area that you had to actually like get in line and go into. And then once you left it, you had to wait in line to get back in. So last year, my wife and I made the mistake of leaving it to go see a couple of sets over at the two other stages. And it took us over an hour to get back in, which was extremely frustrating. So I was really happy to see that gone. And also, like once you were in there, there was no access to food, no access to water. They finally had access to a restroom. They kind of reconfigured it throughout the day so you can go in and out that one bathroom building on the side. But one of our friends was holding it down basically at the best spot for Paramore in the GA area the whole time last year, and she didn't move like for 12 hours. The three of us, the three of us split one protein bar the entire day, and that was like early food. So I was really happy to see they listened to the feedback and got rid of that. So it was more of a free flowing crowd. You can actually get up to the stages without really camping there all day.
Yeah, when we actually got up to where SOCO was playing, the crowd was actually pretty big already, and I was like, oh, okay, here we go. So we started to kind of work our way through. Usually I like to find an edge and just kind of slide towards the front if I can. But like I said, like at that time I was feeling the effects of the sun, not feeling too great. So we decided to hang back, get some water. And since we had time before something corporate, what we found to be easiest was just walking through the other sets. So it was kind of nice because we got to catch some of those smaller bands in the beginning of the day, like Magnolia Park, Knuckle Puck. Like that was really fun because I had been wanting to see them and I was worried that we would miss a lot of that trying to get close for something corporate. So like once we accepted that we're not going to be in the front, we just kind of enjoyed like the placement that we were at. And since we were a little bit further back, we had a great view of the crowd. So it was pretty fun to watch everybody else having their moments. And there was literally a girl right next to Jimmy. As soon as Andrew started playing that 30 seconds of Constantine,
Yeah.
bawling.
Ball like a big.
And she had no regrets. She was just like so happy to be there and just to hear it. And a lot of people were excited to see them there. What did you think of that crowd? And do you think that people were excited to see them?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. On Saturday, we probably worked our way up maybe like 10-ish rows or so, kind of like right in front of Willie. And then Sunday, we were even a little bit closer. We somehow got like in front of that little catwalk that was on that stage, which I didn't think was even possible for us to get in that close. But Sunday gates did open a little earlier, which was nice. So we were able to get in at 10:30 instead of at 11, and work our way up there. But yeah, I thought everyone up front, I was a little worried, especially at festivals. A lot of people who are at Barricade are there for, the headliners or the sub headliners.
Yeah.
So, they might not be as interested in those early bands, but, everyone around us, just talking to people during those really brief 5-minute set changes, everyone was super excited for something corporate. So it was really cool to, be a part of that and really, just, feed off that energy there too. It was again, the same infectious energy that was happening on Friday night was definitely at their fest on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, agree. I thought the lineup was great. I don't recall exactly because I knew we weren't going last year, but I know you mentioned like Paramore and My Camp, so I'm sure the lineup last year was great as well. I thought this year's was really good. I think it was like 55 bands. And it's like to do that all in one day, obviously you're gonna have to make decisions on, well, do I really want to go see them? But like we just took like 10-minute sets and it was like, let's go watch Magnolia Park for 10 minutes and do that. I think my main, like, I'm not going to be so negative, but I think my main issue with, obviously it's a shit ton of people. I don't know exactly how many people were there on Saturday, but I thought the lack of not rest, but like shade areas and the water stations were probably the biggest downfalls, where I think we could have stayed way longer than we did. But was it like that last year as well? Because I think there was only like 4 shade tents and maybe 100 people, maybe 150 people, and there's like literally thousands. But was that similar to what it was last year?
Yeah, it was pretty much like the same overall like layout footprint as it was last year. Like I said, really without that GA pit. But yeah, I think there could have been like a water station closer to that green stage.
Yes.
Especially because there was one like on the backside of Pink, like if you went around the cabanas, which is actually like I kind of found like 2 secret spots at this festival. Like one is on the backside, like by where the skate ramp was. That's usually like kind of a quieter zone.
People raved about that one. Yeah.
Shorter lines, everything over there, and then also like the far side of the stripe stage, like all the way on the opposite side of the park. There's that was always like a nice kind of quieter spot. The shortest food lines were always over there too, and shortest bathroom lines, and they had a refill station there too. But yeah, I do think I think I saw there was 65,000 people there or something.
That's what I read, but I wasn't sure if that was right. And it was like 4. I think there was 4, like just regular GA. I know there was GA plus like tents and things like that, but for just regular GA, I think there was only like 4 shade tents, and it was like a lot of people and it's fucking hot. Like not even gonna lie, it was so hot. It was like I was surprised there wasn't more because we do. I'm into like Tool and Korn, so we do Rockville here, and it's at Daytona Speedway. And it's huge, and it's probably the same amount of people, but there's like tents literally everywhere. So I was like, that was like, again, I thought the festival lineup was great. I thought everything was great, but it was like the water stations and the tents were just like, that crushed us. Literally. It was like, I can't hang all day. What did you think of that? Yeah. I like the 2 main stages next to each other because it was like Motion City went and then SOCO went. It was like back to back all day. What did you think of that setup, and is that how it was last year?
Yeah, that's how it was last year. That's how Lovers and Friends was. I do love that setup too because you can really especially if you're like in the middle, you really don't have to move at all.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, we didn't move basically from the Ataris through something corporate on the first day because we wanted to go see Michelle Branch on one of the other stages. But on Sunday, I literally didn't move from the Ataris through Yellow Card. We hung out there for, I think it was like a 6-band run or something. So it was like Ataris, Motion City, something corporate, Newfound Glory, Yellow Card. Yeah, so like a 5-band run there.
Nice.
It was really good.
It's really great to have that, just be able to, not have any downtime. And same thing at the smaller stages too, with those rotating stages. I mean, you get those 5-minute set changes. You got music all day.
Yeah.
There's something I really love about that fest. You're able to see way more people there than at a typical festival, with stages with their breakdowns and half hour, 45-minute set changes.
Yeah, I was surprised how quick, because Motion City ended, and it was like Andrew was up and like it seemed like less than 10 minutes. It was like, holy shit.
Yeah, they're 5-minute back to back on there. And I mean, I know Riot Fest does that too in Chicago with their main stages, and it works out well there too. So it's something that I think it makes it unique. It makes it, the day just a little more enjoyable, especially if you are there waiting for someone. You don't really have like those big gaps of nothing going on.
Right.
Yeah. What did you think of the other 2 stages? We went to go see Michelle Branch too, because we needed to hear Everywhere. But it was like you could hear her if you were pretty close, but you also heard the other stage because it was just like how they were angled. It was like, I hear background of this, but I hear Michelle Branch in front of me. I thought that was, I don't know if they could have set them up differently, but it's due to lack of space, I'm sure. But it was like, I could still hear, like, it was almost like you could hear both going on at the same time.
Yeah, and that is an issue, I think, there too with the sound bleed, especially when you have like a heavier band on one of those stages and someone, a little more quiet, like Michelle Branch on the other. That's why I did typically, when I was at that stage, the Stripes that Michelle was at, I would typically go around to that far side, so you are a little further removed from that low stage. Getting a little bit more of space to just hear her sound. But I mean, I did like those other 2 stages too. I was there a good amount. Simple Plan on the Go stage was so much fun. Like one of the best sets of the day. It was just a party over there, and luckily got to see them on Saturday. The nice thing about going both days is I was able to split up my schedule. Anyone who I missed on Saturday was able to catch on Sunday, and vice versa.
Well, it was funny because when we left, I was like, because I even thought of you, I was like, I can't believe Tyler's doing this for day 2. Like I was whooped. I'm an old man. I was whooped. But it was almost like you kind of should have done it in 2 days, because it's like you hit the first like half, maybe on Saturday, and then you go back on Sunday at like 4 o'clock. Like
I was there open and closed both days.
Okay. You're younger than me, though. You're a lot younger than me. No, but I like those other stages. That's where we saw Academy is. I thought that stage was a lot of fun. Some people were surprised that Simple Plan wasn't on a main stage, but it sounds like you had a great time when you saw them on that stage.
Yeah, I wish they would have been on the main stage. Am I allowed to criticize Jared Leto on here?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. 30 Seconds to Mars was a miss. I mean, I saw them on Sunday only because I was posting up for Blink. And it was the exact same time as Simple Plan. And, Simple Plan was 1,000 times better. I mean, so much more fun, so much more energy. The crowd was way more into it. I felt like we were all just kind of present for 30 Seconds to Mars, just kind of waiting for The Offspring, for Blink, and for Green Day, who were the final 3 after them. But, that Simple Plan set was a blast. I mean, on Saturday they brought out the singers for Bowling for Soup and for MXPX to do I'm Just a Kid,
fun.
Which was and that was another thing cool too. There were so many guests this year, which people who were in other bands at the fest, and also people who weren't even playing the fest came out. Got to see Avril with All Time Low on Saturday. That was really special.
We did see that. That was actually really cool. Then I saw her with Tony. She was with Tony Hawk like later on. I was like, what the fuck?
I did see that too. Yeah. So I had a feeling she'd come out. So I made sure we actually only saw, I think, 1 or 2 songs from the Academy before we ran over. I was like, I want to get a good spot for All Time Low just in case she's there.
Yeah.
So that was really cool on Saturday. And then on Sunday, completely randomly, Lil Wayne was out with Good Charlotte.
What the fuck? I saw that.
The most unexpected thing. Like they started playing a million. Like, oh, they're just playing this like for fun between songs or something. And then like he came out like, oh, that's it. And he did like pretty much all of a million. And he stayed out there for Life of the Rich and Famous and sang it with him. Like this was
amazing,
really unexpected. That was so much fun. But yeah, that's something else I love about Fest too. It's just like expect the unexpected. Like there's always going to be surprises, whether it's something a little more predictable, like Avril doing a new song that she has with All Time Low, or something completely unexpected, like Lil Wayne coming out with Good Charlotte.
Yeah,
and
that one when I read that, I was like, what the hell? Yeah. Were the crowds similar like to last year? Because to me, it's a money hungry thing. Like sell as many tickets as you can, but it was like, was the crowd similar to last year, like the amount of people?
I actually think it felt a little more crowded last year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Especially at the two smaller stages. Like last year, again, we had tickets for the Saturday and the Sunday, but obviously Saturday got canceled, so we only went on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was a little more crowded. Especially I think the only time we really branched out from the main stage area was to see 303 in the starting line back to back on
nice.
I think it was called the Checker stage last year, the Ghost stage this year. That one smaller stage, and you couldn't get in front of like the ADA or like the soundboard or anything. It was just completely packed over there. And this year I felt like it was much, much easier to navigate and get up close on those smaller stages. So I do think it was crowded, but I felt more packed in last year. Now that was because of that GA pit and people kind of just packed in there all day. And then when we left, the cluster trying to get back into it. But yeah, it was crowded both times, but yeah, I definitely felt a little more claustrophobic last year.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for us, it was easier to just stage hop and just like go and enjoy as many bands as we could. So, I mean, we ended up seeing Magnolia Park, Knuckle Puck. We did see the Ataris, Motion City, SOCO, Michelle Branch, Zebrahead, No Pressure, saw some Newfound Glory, the Academy is, and then we kind of hit the wall at All Time Low and watching them with Avril. Because for us, the crowd was just super thick, and we ended up being a little bit over where the skate ramp was, and a lot of people were just over there vibing, and they were just enjoying like being at the festival. So you can't harp on that. People are just sitting there enjoying the music and having fun. And for us, like seeing them as a tiny little speck on the screen was kind of like, okay, we're not going to see much better than this. So and we already have tickets to Blink-182's tour. So we were like, let's just we'll call it quits here. And we have other festivals planned in Florida. So we had a good time, but for some of this, I do feel like it was a little bit of like a money grab for millennials' wallets, just based on that nostalgia factor. But hey, it worked. They got our money.
Yeah, nostalgia sells.
You made it through both days, and I'm like, impressed. But how about you give us a list of the bands that you saw and your favorite sets of the whole festival?
Oh man, yeah, I saw a ton over the 2 days. I did see a lot of the same people both days. I think last year had more bands I was interested in, but this year had more bands I was like super passionate about. Like obviously like Something Corporate, Blink, people like that I was more excited about than anyone who played last year. But I saw the Ataris, Motion City, Something Corporate, Michelle, Newfound Glory, Yellow Card, All Time Low, saw some 5 Seconds of Summer, which was super fun. Simple Plan. Saw Simple Plan, saw Reliant K, saw Gym Class Heroes. Been back at the main stages for Offspring, Good Charlotte, Green Day, Blink, obviously. Favorite sets, I mean, Something Corporate, number one, clearly. They were the reason I was up there. That All Time Low set on Saturday was definitely up there. Seeing Avril with them was super fun. Simple Plan, like I mentioned, was just hit after hit after hit. I was happy they got a longer set too. I mean, most of the bands over on those smaller stages only had a half hour, but they gave them 45 minutes, which was really great. The Offspring, who I was able to catch their full set on Sunday, they were amazing. Just
nice.
Again, just all hits only. I mean, those guys are legends. They've been doing it for longer than almost anyone else in that lineup.
A lot of people really enjoyed the Offspring, and that was kind of one of my bands to see, because I've seen them before at Riot Fest and they crushed it. So it's so good live.
Yeah, I saw them earlier this year at Innings Fest, which is a little fest we have out here in AZ. But yeah, just seeing them again was insane. Yeah, I'd say they were up there in my top five. Seeing anything was really great. Got to catch Max and Company set on Saturday. So that was fun. Played Well I Can Get Sexual too, which I did not expect to hear. That was really, really fun. Yeah, they were. Yeah, I'd say those are Something Corporate, Blink, All Time Low, Offspring, Say Anything, Simple Plan, Good Charlotte was really fun on Sunday too. I think those are probably the big highlights for me.
Awesome.
Were there any bands that you were surprised that when you first saw the list that were on it?
I was surprised to see Michelle Branch. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
that was. But I mean, again, she was amazing. She was super fun to see. Someone I'd never seen before. I was surprised to see 30 Seconds to Mars. I feel like they were never really a part of that scene.
No.
They played. They've been on the fest circuit all year. Like they were at Lolla this year. They were at ACL this year. I feel like they've been on kind of the more mainstream fest scene. So not necessarily the best fit for this fest. Again, probably they weren't awful by any means, but just probably my least favorite set of a really packed weekend.
Is there anyone that you're expecting like next year, like that you would want to see?
I think Fall Out Boy's probably due to headline. I think they're kind of like the next kind of big band up. I honestly don't know. I'm like struggling to think of who else would headline with them. Someone else at that same level. There's really no one. I mean, unless you got like Panic back together and they promise only play their first two albums, something like that.
Well, you better manifest that. People will keep their minds.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really hard. I mean, there's some smaller bands too. Some of the more, I guess, on the more like melodic side, of people like Copeland would be really cool to see something like that. May more, less on the pop punk, more like that emo kind of more in the corporate realm.
Yeah. May was just in California, like right before this festival.
Yeah, May they played in Arizona the Saturday of when we were young, so I missed them.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah.
Now I know you said you worked the merch booth. Did you buy any merch while you were there?
No, I actually didn't. We were so busy. I completely forgot to actually buy my own merch. It was great. We sold a ton of it. It was popular.
Yeah. We tried to get in because I really wanted one of the Blink shirts. And it was like the line on Saturday was just like, I'm either gonna stay here all day or I'm gonna go watch bands, because it was like one or the other. It was there. I couldn't imagine how much money they made on merch from just the festival merch and then the band merch over the weekend. That artist merch line, since there's only one artist merch booth, was crazy packed. Like I looked at the line once, was like, there's no one I need that bad. Like I got a Blink. I mean, I know Blink's been doing like those one-off shirts, which are really cool for each show. I got one at Coachella, so I was like, okay, I got my one Blink shirt. That was the first show back with Tom too, so I'm like, cool. I got like the very first one. I'm good. I don't need to be collecting T-shirts from Blink shows. Like that's not something I need in my life. But I do love that they do that though. I mean, anytime you can get like something special from that show, usually it's posters, which I do love to collect, and have a stack of like 15 poster frames to the side of me here from all the shows and stuff I've gone through recently. That the other day.
I stocked up. Probably next week once I get back from Chicago, I'm going to frame everything and figure out how to hang them up. But
nice.
I do love buying those one-off show posters. I ordered the Something Corporate one through Veeps just so I didn't have to carry it around or wait in the merch line there. So I'm excited for that one to come in too.
I liked that Blink did like their own shirt and their own poster for each date. That was like really cool. But for people who haven't been to a festival, do you have any suggestions for them? Like, what would you say, like, top 5 things to have?
I would say, I mean, first of all, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Like,
go
easy on yourself early. Don't overdo it. Don't drink too much. I truthfully like rarely drink at festivals. I think that helps me be able to go to so many and be able to be as energized as I am at them. Usually if I drink, it's the headliner on the last day. That's the time I really excited. Okay, like I'm celebrating. We made it through. Let's reminisce and enjoy this last set together or something. But I would say top things for me are water bottle, obviously. I've really kind of downsized my fest setup. I used to have the big Camelback and everything. I just hated having something on my back all day and getting like sweaty. So I found this really great North Face fanny pack that has like a little pocket in the front you can put a water bottle in, and like my 25 ounce like Camelback bottle fits perfectly in there. So
Nice.
That's been kind of like my default setup. Pretty much this entire year, I tested out at Coachella, and I was like, okay, if this is good enough for Coachella, I can handle this anywhere. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, take water bottle, electrolytes, like I mentioned before, get some liquid IV, get some Ultima packets, something like that, to really just multiply that liquid that you're taking in. Earplugs, please, people, wear earplugs at festivals, wear earplugs at concerts, protect your hearing. You want to be able to go to shows forever, and don't use the foam ones. They suck. They muffle the sound.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone talks about eargasms. I've never tried those ones, but I know they're a big sponsor of every fest. But you can go on Amazon and get some good reusable ones for $15-20 that make everything sound just the same, just at a more safe volume. So yeah. In my bag's pretty light, so it's my water bottle, it's earplugs, it's a battery pack, it's sunglasses, and it's some Band-Aids. Like, I really travel light. I spray a ton of sunscreen on me before I go in. Obviously, Advil is always helpful too. You're getting those midday pains, but I try to keep it pretty minimal. I don't like having a ton of stuff on me just because I don't like to carry everything. But yeah, battery pack, phone, earplugs.
Yeah, smart.
Awesome. Now that we actually got to be old people and complain a little bit and talk about our favorite bands, Tyler, can we expect to see you at any upcoming shows for Andrew's tour? Are you planning on hitting anything up?
So he played here in July, so he's kind of skipping Phoenix's leg of the tour. He's playing up in Flagstaff, which is about 2.5 hours north of here, but it's like a Tuesday or something, so I don't think he can pull that one off. And unfortunately, gonna miss the benefit this year as well. We're actually going out to Palm Springs that weekend to see the Emo Orchestra, which I'm not sure if you've heard anything about.
I've heard that's awesome.
Yeah. I think it just started. That tour just started a week or so ago. But yeah, it's Hawthorne Heights playing with a full orchestra. Doing some of their own songs and doing a bunch of emo classics. So that's it's my wife's birthday that weekend, so we're really excited to go out to Palm Springs and check that out. But if there's some Andrew shows, maybe late December or something, I'll be at those ones if and when those happen.
Yeah. Well, you never know what could happen. And now that we had this QR code thing, like I said, people are interested in learning about it, they can hit us up. But a lot of people don't want to get in trouble for sharing too much information. So we're doing what we can. But
Exactly. I know. Like, a lot of stuff in Andrew's community is kind of like an open secret. Yeah.
Tyler, it's been a blast catching up with you. So fun to see you in Vegas and get to say hi and say hi to your wife for us again. And we hope to see you at another show soon.
Oh yeah, can't wait.
Can you tell everybody where they can follow you on social media and see all the amazing shows you go to?
Yeah, so I am primarily on Instagram. It's at Ty Perrino, TYPERRINO. That's my handle on Instagram and on Twitter. Find me there. And can I plug my Festiverse community?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, search for Festiverse Club again on Instagram or Twitter. We're out there. You can find a link on any of those sites, and then join the Discord community. It's, like I said, we're 10,000 members strong and growing. And
awesome.
Even if it's not any of the festivals we're official sponsors of, we talk everything. So yeah, join us. Like I said, I've made some amazing friends in there. So yeah.
Awesome.
So
we'll get everything posted and attached. And like I said, so thankful for you to share all of your tips and tricks for festivals. Hopefully it's helpful for other people. But thank you again for talking to us.
Great having me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Your stickers are in the mail.
Awesome. Can't wait to get them.
Thank
you,
listening.
man.
Thank you.
All right. See you, bud.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Ultimate Mixtape, an Andrew McMahon fan podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe everywhere you listen to your podcasts. To keep up with the latest news, visit our website, www.theultimatemixtape.com.